Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain safe for a moment of silence. Remember our troops abroad and their families home here at home. And also, just keep in mind in our thoughts and our prayers the Belmar families that are still displaced. Thank you. Would the council like to offer this for a special presentation to our friends from Epic Construction?
Termination rate?
Special presentation.
Our friends from Epic Construction, come up.
I know. That's our mayor.
So everyone may have seen a bunch of guys with hammers and nails up on Ocean Avenue starting on January 9th. Everyone knows our boardwalk was destroyed during Hurricane Sandy, and we were lucky enough to have Epic Construction working on the project, and part of their incentive to get done in a very quick time frame. And these guys started January 9th, and they're done by April 30th. So they built 1.3 miles of boardwalk, and they did it during the winter months. And you know, no matter what the weather was, they were up there plugging away. And I'll tell you briefly, the folks who are in here are the employees from Birdsall, who did a magnificent job as well. Both engineering it, designing it, and then managing it with Epic. Obviously, Birdsall, people may have read in the paper, have gone through some challenges lately, but the Birdsall employees that were here, even when they were furloughed, showed up to work at 7 a.m. To make sure that the project was completed on time. So over the next couple of weeks, we need to put up the railings, got some concrete work to do, put up the lights, and then the trailers, the concession trailers and the bathroom trailers. But it's nice to say that the boardwalk itself, because of the work of Epic Construction, is completed. So we have a proclamation and then one special thing to present to them as well. So let me read this. This is honoring Epic Construction. Whereas on October 29, 2012, Hurricane Sandy made a landfill, bringing the Atlantic Ocean into the streets of Belmar, flooding homes, destroying the entire existing boardwalk, and sending debris throughout town. And whereas on Friday, November 30th, the Borough of Belmar went out to bid for the reconstruction of the boardwalk, the first in the state to initiate rebuilding activities in the wake of Hurricane Sandy, with the objective to rebuild by Memorial Day 2013. And whereas the importance of making the Memorial Day 2013 deadline was promulgated into construction bid with an incentive of a $100,000 bonus for substantial completion before April 30th, 2013. And whereas on Tuesday, December 11th, 2012, boardwalk reconstruction bids were opened, and Epic Builds of Piscataway, New Jersey won the low bid on the project. And whereas Epic Builds is a well-respected 40-year-old family company with extensive experience in large construction projects and excellent relationships in the labor community, and Epic approached the bid aggressively to ensure that Belmar would benefit from great prices by being the first on the market. And whereas on January 9th, 2013, both Governor Chris Christie and Mayor Anthony joined to break ground on the boardwalk project, driving the first piling into the ground. And whereas the Epic Builds team of John Epifano, Joel Lazzetto, Senior Vice President John Robbins, Project Manager Rob By, all-around best construction manager on the planet. That's verified. And you can find out with the people. Solidly and consistently performed to mobilize equipment, labor, and logistics to advance the project with over 50 carpenters and skilled tradesmen on site at the project site. And whereas through bitter winter storms, sandblasting winds, and drenching rain, Epic worked every day regardless of conditions. And whereas on April 26, 2013, Epic Builds achieved substantial completion of the boardwalk reconstruction project ahead of schedule, delivering to Belmar a sound, strong, and beautiful boardwalk that will welcome back our residents and visitors for Memorial Day 2013. Now, therefore, be resolved, the Borough of Belmar recognizes John Epifano and all Epic Builds for their outstanding work and exemplary performance in building Belmar's boardwalk. Be it further reserved that Mayor Martori and the members of the Belmar Council extend on behalf of all Belmar residents their congratulations and thanks for delivering such a beautiful boardwalk back to its residents, and is now hereby pleased to present the early completion bonus of $100,000 to Epic Builds. And a giant check. This is more arts and crafts. Heavy on the arts.
They have to fund a giant ATM.
So, all right, this check will certainly bounce. But a wire to your company, we'll pass them. Want to take a quick picture of this?
Love it, guys.
Claire just disappeared.
That's fine. That's good.
Guy holding the check, keep it.
Now, Epic's buying first round of Conley if you need it, right?
Absolutely. For everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to say, actually, it was really great working here. Everybody from Belmar was actually great. Thank you.
And another amazing thing you would never know is that Epic has never built a boardwalk before.
Now we're experts.
And they literally set the standard. When we originally looked to design a boardwalk, and our engineers met with the Department of Environmental Protection and DCA, there were no guidelines. So think about it, if you want to put a sink in your house, right, there are codes and specs and guidelines on putting a sink in. But to build 1.3 miles of boardwalk, we just kind of came up with it. And we came up with what's going to be the best boardwalk in New Jersey. So
That's great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks.
Next for our workshop discussion, we have Katie Lyons, who would like to come before the council and present an idea of having Zumba on the beach in Belmar. That's Katie.
No, everyone. Sure. How are you?
Hello, everyone. My name is Catherine Lyons.
Sorry, just
Gotta swear
face the
in.
council.
Okay. Oh, cool. See you later, guys. All right. I'm Catherine Lyons. Thanks for having me. Fitness is on the forefront of everyone's minds these days. So why not bring fitness to our beachfront? Thanks to Epic very much. Through an international organization created back in 2001, Zumba Fitness is an exhilarating, effective, and easy-to-follow Latin-inspired, calorie-burning dance fitness party. There's more than 14 million people of all shapes, sizes, and ages who take weekly Zumba classes. And currently it's being taught in over 140,000 different locations across more than 150 countries worldwide. So how could we not bring this to Belmar? In the wake of Superstorm Sandy, we can all use some positive excitement in our lives, community bonding, and some self-confidence boosting. Winter is never easy, but this past winter especially led to some serious overeating and lack of enthusiasm towards our weekly routines. We have come so far in restoring the shore, and now it's time to rebuild our bodies together This is why I'm here today to propose a new fitness initiative, Zumba Belmar. Through this global movement, we can promote physical fitness through a life-changing experience that doesn't even feel like a workout. Growing up on the Belmar beachfront, I started with the mini guard program when I was 7 years old and then trained with the junior lifeguards until I was 17. This past summer, I followed my heart back to 6th Ave and became a junior lifeguard coach, reliving all of the fantastic memories and the friendships that I found on that same sand so many years ago. It was truly a blessing to share with the generation all the lessons that I had learned, and now it is my desire to give back even more this hope and happiness about our beachfront. So here I am to propose 3 Zumba classes a week on the 2nd Ave beachfront during the months of July and August. Participation will be open to anyone over the age of 14, and a website will be set up for pre-registration. Classes will be held from 8 to 9 a.m., and payment will be $10 a class or $90 for 10 classes. Liability waivers and emergency contact will be held on site in a file and only need to be signed at the participant's first class. So please help me make this happen. Come out and join us as we share fun under the sun for Zumba Belmar. Thank you.
There's one thing out here I really have a problem with.
Yeah.
You say that it's easy. And I feel like to exhibit both myself and Councilman Bean as being 2 people who probably could not do it.
Anybody can. It's that easy, just left to right. That's all you gotta do, left to right.
Do any members of the council have questions for Catherine?
I'm very much in support of this project.
Awesome.
Do you do Zumba?
No.
But she
But some of the Zumba, I do dance as well. So some of my dance is Zumba.
Awesome.
When you're doing Zumba on the beach, are you going to have flat areas or are you going to have?
So I did a little investigating as far as I could because I know our beach is still closed. But we have a platform on 2nd Ave. The picture on the front is the platform that I was thinking about using. So our benches aren't up yet there. We usually have that little atrium of benches, which I don't know if that'll be completed. Hopefully for this project it won't be. If so, I was thinking that I could stand on the boardwalk being the teacher and the students would be on the sand. That's definitely going to make for a harder workout. So before we start classes, if all goes well, I'm going to take a test group up and kind of see where it best fits, if I should have the participants on the boardwalk and me on the beach, vice versa. There's also about 20 yards away the steps that enter for either 2nd or 3rd Ave. So I could possibly be there and then the people could be on the platform. So we're just kind of finalizing logistics once I get the okay to do it. But I was hoping that the students will be on the sand and I'll be on the boardwalk. But if that's going to be too hard, I'll sacrifice, make it harder on me and put them on the boardwalk, me on the sand, on that nice little platform that we have there.
But they had mats too. I don't know, that would not be good.
I don't think so because there's a lot of moving, cross moving, so I think it would be best to be on. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Sandcastle contest. I hope so. DJs puts out those platforms that are about this big and they add about 3 of them together and make a little stage. So I was gonna maybe look into maybe investing into and buying one of these so I could put myself on the sand and then put the people on the boardwalk if it just makes it easier.
Sounds great.
So, yeah.
We had,
Fun kind of exercise, yeah.
I believe we had yoga on the beach last year.
Mhm.
And as long as we go by the same rules and regulations.
Great.
I think it worked out well last year. I don't know. Yeah, no
Awesome.
problems.
Did you yoga as well?
I didn't. If I did, I didn't try.
Didn't make that class.
Yeah, I think the price is pretty reasonable. I'd like if you do the 9 for 10 classes.
Cool.
This is a chance to pre-register and take advantage of that discount.
And then I have a team of 2 of my girlfriends that are down to help. So they'll kind of be taking attendance and help me file all the paperwork and everything. So I can't take this endeavor on alone, and I already have 2 good friends that have signed on. So
And what are the hours
here.
of the class?
I talked to the mayor previously to the meeting, and we had to do it before he had to pay to get on the beach. So I was thinking between 8 and 9 in the morning. We'll get there about 7:30, set up, finish up right around 9.
And that won't be too hot.
Yep, and then, yeah, it won't be too hot.
I think that sounds perfect.
Awesome.
It's a good fit.
Thank you. I thought so too, especially for this summer, you know. I kind of wrote on the top of one of those papers, a new boardwalk, a new life, a new project, a new beginning. So, awesome. Well, thanks for hearing me.
Excellent, Mark. So So we, sounds like the council would be in favor of this.
Okay.
So we would have to go out to bid.
Mhm.
Now, the bidding works like this, and you'll see it if you want to stick around and
Okay.
watch the bidding on the concessions,
Mhm.
on the trailers. People come up and we start at a minimum bid, whatever
Okay.
that is. Someone offers that. And then if someone else is there to counter it, someone else.
Okay.
So one thing you have to be fully aware of, while we like this idea, and we may very well like you,
Mhm.
if someone outbids you, they could steal your idea and
Okay.
put that on the beach. And it has happened before,
Mhm.
particularly a couple of years ago with beach umbrellas.
Okay.
So as long as you're okay with that, maybe this is something we do on the 15th,
We should have time.
right? We would get the notice in the paper.
Yeah, we would notice in the paper this coming Saturday. That would give us ample notice and have people come and bid at the next council meeting.
Awesome.
And at the same time, we got to figure out what a minimum bid would be.
Okay. I think that's a risk I'm willing to take. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Nice presentation.
Thanks.
Next is actually going to be our bids on the concessions. There's 2 concession trailers that are up for bid tonight, 10th Ave and 13th Ave. 10th Ave is where Burrito Hut was. They chose to terminate their lease. And 13th Ave is where Matisse was, but also terminated their lease. Just so we don't have people who are going to step on each other's toes or get each other's way, if someone could raise their hand, who's interested in bidding on 10th Avenue concession? And who's interested in bidding on the 13th Avenue concession? All right. Let's do 10th Avenue first. Ms. Ball, you want to come up and check? Okay. What's our minimum bid for this?
$8,750.
Okay.
You need a bid deposit.
I have.
All right, so the minimum bid is $8,750. Would you like to bid $8,750 for 10th Avenue?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to bid higher than that? Sold. Very well. Next will be 13th Avenue. 13th Avenue minimum bid is, how much, Colin?
$8,750.
$8,750. Would you like to bid $8,750 for the 13th Avenue trailer?
Yes.
Would you like to bid any higher than
No.
$8,750? Sold!
Thank you. Yes.
Now, everyone knows Mary, because Mary's been here forever, but tell us who
People need to get your info. And
Tell us who you are, by the way.
Oh, I'm Anthony Farrar, owner and operator of Muscle Maker Grill, Highway 35 in Wall Township. And what I'm looking to do is bring a Muscle Maker Express, just a quick, healthy option. So it'll work great.
That takes care of our concession bids. Next is any petitions. Are there any petitions for the mayor and council from the public? See any? Next will be reports of mayor and council. Unfortunately, today we are missing the illustrious Councilman Brian McGovern. He is at a track meet today. He's a referee, I guess? Track official, much like Doug Knight. So, Council President, would you like to start us off with the points?
I certainly would, Mr. Mayor. I wish to thank Ray Claudio, our Recreation Director, for assisting with our community walk last Wednesday. While we didn't have a huge turnout, those who participated really seemed to enjoy the walk. The ADA Committee is hosting a Caregivers Workshop on Thursday, May 16th at 7 p.m. at the Belmar Library. Representatives from various agencies, including the Family Support Center, will be on hand to offer information and support to those remarkable individuals who care for those who require assistance for a variety of reasons. I just want to tell a little bit of a story. My mother passed in 2011 and was in a rehab, and I was able to go different times of the day. I went morning or noon or in the evening. I was there every day. But there was a woman there whose husband had Alzheimer's. She was there every time I was there. She was there all day long, looking after him, holding his hand, trying to engage him in conversation, just being there for him. And I thought to myself, this is what love and dedication, this is what it's about. She was never missing from his side. So I think this meeting brings to mind all those wonderful people who care for a child with special needs, a person with special needs, an ill partner or an ill spouse or an elderly parent. So we hope to have a good support meeting, but also give information out that might be helpful to these very, very wonderful individuals. Also, a letter was mailed with the approval of the ADA committee, which I chair, to New Jersey Transit. We requested a fully compliant ramp, plank, or appliance to allow handicapped individuals to board trains easily. We're patiently waiting for a response from the New Jersey Transit, hopefully soon. Also in May, the Mayor's Wellness Campaign and the Belmar Women's Club are co-sponsoring an event called Healthy Homes. The program will be presented by the staff of the Monmouth County Health Department. Suggestions will be given as to how to maintain a healthy and safe environment within the home. The date for the presentation is Wednesday, May 22nd, from 1 to 3 at the Belmar Library. Please remember our Belmar Safety Day, organized and held by our Belmar police staff, this Sunday, May 5th, at 12th Avenue by the Belmar School. I have to compliment Sergeant Tina Scott for being highly organized in preparing this event, and also to Captain McGovern for his involvement. There will be all kinds of information tables from boating safety to bicycle safety to skateboarding, and all of our fire people and first aid people will be there. And there will be fun activities as well. So it should be a fun day, and I saw the weather forecast. It's going to be a good day. Also, with the assistance of Chief Palmisano, we had requests for a handicap parking space on the Main Street entrance of Borough Hall, now that all the offices are on that side. So that's going to happen, which we're very, very happy about, because it would be very difficult. It is difficult. The handicap parking space is now over here on the 6th Avenue side. So now we'll have one on Main Street as well. This information came to me through Ray Claudio, our recreation director. Horizon Blue Shield Blue Cross is sponsoring a Blue to You Boardwalk Challenge from May 27th to September 2nd. Belmar has signed on for the program. Each participant will receive a pedometer to track distance during the challenge. You have to record your miles at the library with Ray on certain days. Other shore towns are competing in this program. The town with the most miles will enjoy a barbecue hosted by Blue Shield Blue Cross. Sign-ups will take place at the Triangle on 1st and Ocean Avenues on Monday of Memorial Day, May 27th. Please remember our Mayor's Wellness Campaign food drive, and I have to say people have been very, very generous there. We've had loads of food at the library and here at Borough Hall. I'm happy to say that we're getting some good items. Please remember that we prefer canned as opposed to glass, and we cannot accept outdated foods. There was an excellent meeting of MOVE, Manasquan Organization of Volunteer Efforts. Surrounding towns are included in the group. Presently, I was asked to sit on the executive board of MOVE. The meeting brought together experts on a number of topics relating to homes that still need to be rebuilt after Sandy. Other services such as emotional support were present. Some Belmar residents took advantage of this opportunity, and I was very happy to welcome them at that event. Move, along with World Renew, will be holding walk-ins for individuals who still need post-Sandy assistance. This is being made possible through the St. Vincent de Paul Society. The walk-in will be held, it started today, and it will run through May 7th. The hours and the dates are on the door on this side of our borough entrance, but for more information, you can call the Parish Center, St. Rose, and speak to someone from St. Vincent de Paul. The number is 681-0512. Also, Tom Volker let me know this piece of news. The Belmar Business Partnership is seeking help for planting begonias and beacons around trees on Main Street and 10th Avenue. Volunteers will meet Saturday, May 11th at 8 a.m. at Belmar Paint Store at 6th and Main. Rain date is Sunday, May 12th. Also, there is a free oral health screening on May 13th from 3 to 6, sponsored by the Monmouth County Health Department at 3435 Highway 9 North. If you want to take advantage of that oral screening, you can call 732-431-7456 to register for an appointment. Finally, I wish to congratulate Mayor Doherty for being named as an up-and-comer by the Asbury Park Press in the Sunday, April 21st issue of the paper. They were recognizing people in government, and the article cited his success and all that he's accomplished. So I congratulate you, Mayor. That was a wonderful piece.
It was more like honorable mention.
That's all right. I saw it and I was proud.
Oh, thank you. Councilman Dean?
Thank you, Mayor. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock in this courtroom, we're having our first police meeting with the 9th Avenue. It starts at 7 o'clock. We had a small one last Thursday, went very well with the apartment complex down on Ocean Ave and 9th, on Ocean and 9th Ave. It went very well as well. Chief, is there any way, do we have a schedule of when the rest of the meetings are?
Yeah, I'll talk to Lieutenant Cox, who's running the community police meeting.
Can we put that on the website?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Okay.
I'll get the information and we'll pull it up.
So basically, real quick, every street has a police officer assigned to it, and we're trying to get all the residents to know their officer so that it's one point of contact for any problems that come up. And please check the website, contact me, contact anybody. We'll let you know when the meetings are going to happen. And Mayor, since we paid out Epic, is there skirting on the boardwalk? What are we gonna do about the skirting on the boardwalk?
We're gonna use extra pieces of the brown surface, and our Department of Public Works is gonna put that on.
Okay, very good. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Councilwoman Nicolay.
For the Belmar Elementary School, the 8th grade fundraising team invites everyone to come out Sunday, May 5th for Bowl for Breakfast at Secret Lanes, 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock to raise money for the 8th grade dinner dance. It's $10 for unlimited bowling, shoes, and breakfast. Bowling shoes. They're continuing to plan the Belmar Strong Beach Celebration, which is scheduled for Wednesday, May 22nd. It's partnership between the school, elementary school, St. Rose, and the Mayor and Council, and it includes an afternoon for the children with lunch, music provided, group photos, a Belmar Strong t-shirt, and the students will be developing a logo and slogan between the 3rd and the 7th, and the winner will be announced that day, and the slogan and logo will be honored. For Belmar Recreation, there's actually registration tonight for the beach camp and arts and crafts. Soccer registration will be held on May the 23rd from 6 to 7:30. The cost is $35. Toddler time will continue. It's going to be from June 13th from 9 to 11 a.m. And it's free for residents and $20 for non-residents. This Saturday, did you mention Safety Day?
On Sunday.
You did? Oh, Sunday, okay. I highly encourage everybody to go out. I bring my children every year, and we get free bike helmets, and there's bounce houses and food, and it's a lot of fun. With the Belmar DPW, they've been very hard at work over the past 2 weeks. God bless you.
Thank you.
They did 100%, let's see, they actually worked, with the county, with the workforce, and working with them was 100% covered by the county, and they built 19 docks for the marina. So there was zero cost to our town, which is great. They fixed 4 sinkholes directly as a result of Sandy, 31 potholes. They're preparing the parks for the plantings that are coming up. Thank you, Tom Volker. Fixing the signs on the beachfront and repairing any concrete street markers, just getting really the beach ready for the season. I do want to stress again, I always do every meeting to buy in town. I noticed the other day I woke up, I literally went and had breakfast with my family in town, went to the dry cleaners, went to the drugstore, and then I went and had my gray hair taken care of. But really, please support our local businesses. It's very important to the town. Thank you. Oh, and I do want to congratulate the elementary school. They had their gift auction at the Columns this past weekend. It was a great success. They did a super job on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I think most people are here, but some got here a little late. Just in the first part of the meeting, we presented a fake check to Epic Construction for $100,000, representing the bonus that they received for completing the boardwalk on time. And that was competitively bid. You know, one of the things sometimes you worry about when you bid things is you always have to go with the lowest bidder, no matter what. So what we did, which worked out great, was to insert PLA, Project Labor Agreement. What that meant is no matter who won the bid, they were all going to be paying the same wages, and they were all going to be hiring the same type of skilled workers. So really it was up to the companies to fight amongst themselves as to how much they wanted to profit off of the project itself. So, and again, we were, as I mentioned, we were lucky to get Epic. They did an outstanding job. When we go out to bid for the pavilions, which we hope to have built in time for Memorial Day weekend of 2014, I meant to mention this too. I hope Epic bids on that as well. They really do an outstanding job. Staying on the boardwalk. You'll see the railings are going up. So even though Epic is done, unfortunately the boardwalk is not open yet for safety reasons. So the railings are being installed now. They have from 1st to 7th completed on the ocean side. The railings are going to go both on the ocean side and on the beach side. That should be done in the next week or so. Also, you'll see that Precise has started their work on concrete. They're going to be doing both the concrete pads where the trailers are going to go, and also the concrete entrances on 3rd Ave and 19th Ave, I think they're the entrances.
There were 3 vehicle access.
3 vehicle access. So this way, vehicles can get on and off the boardwalk without having to drive on it. They just drive over what we installed concrete. The trailers and lights are on order. I do have a minor concern about the lights. The trailers for sure will be fine and be in place in time. The lights, we've already come up with a plan B if they're not done in time for Memorial Day weekend. We're pushing for them to have done in time for Memorial Day weekend. It's not a matter of installation, but a matter of the fabrication and delivery. So hopefully it's done on time, but it's the one thing I am a bit worried about. But again, we have a plan B with other lights there as well. Colleen, could you tell us where we are with our new parking meters?
Sure. We awarded the new pay stations at your last meeting. That's with Integrated Technological Systems of Connecticut. We are on track to have them and their installations on the ground within 2 weeks, and provide for training of all of our beachfront staff, our DPW staff, and our police, so that we are up and running in time for Memorial Day. It's tight, but we're going to make it.
Excellent. Also, to give an update on our Buy Board campaign, as of today, the Buy Board campaign has raised over $641,000 from just about 6,000 people that have participated. If you take that much money, along with the $300,000 we raised for families, plus the other about $82,000 that was donated in gift cards. You know, little old Belmar raised over $1 million in the last few months from the generosity of people both in town and out of town. And just because we know there were a few people that were a little late, we're going to extend the deadline from April 30th, which was yesterday, to May 15th. So it'd be wonderful if we could get another $59,000 so we could actually get the $700,000. But so we've extended it another 15 days for any of the folks who still want to participate and may have missed the 30th deadline. Also, get back to Precise. I know one of the things we voted on recently was an amendment to their contract where they gave us additional cost for digging pits. So far, 3 pits have been dug. All of them have been completed by our Department of Public Works. So as I mentioned that night, if we didn't vote to amend that contract, they wouldn't have started. But they did start, and we're not going to be digging those pits. Our DPW will be taking care of that. One of the things you will see that Precise completed was the paving back here. So you'll see all the new parking spaces, the lights. It's much cleaner. It's a safer avenue to drive in. This was possibly one of the worst streets in Monmouth County. If you had a four-wheel vehicle, you were taking your life in your own hand driving on River Road in the past. So that's all been completed. And again, that was by Precise. Getting back to the boardwalk, our tentative date, and this is somewhat weather permitting, our tentative date to have a grand opening for the boardwalk is Wednesday, May 22nd. So we'll do one of those reverse 911 calls, and we're going to blast this out through social media and all the other ways to do it. But right now, we're looking to have the grand opening tentatively scheduled for 11 a.m. Again, Wednesday, May 22nd, on the boardwalk where the Taylor Pavilion used to be, so between 5th and 6th Avenue. And we've also coordinated with both Belmar Elementary School and St. Rose Elementary School, K through 8, that when we do that, we're also going to have, it's going to coincide with a kids' kickoff, where all the children from the school are going to either walk or, in Belmar's case, be bused down to the boardwalk, and we're going to have activities for them. The Recreation Department's going to be there. So it's going to be a great event to start off the summer season. And again, that will be the Wednesday before Memorial Day weekend, I guess 3 weeks from today. So if you put that in your calendar, make sure you show up. I'll be taking attendance. Also, before that, May 13th, which is a Monday, the Blue Claws in Lakewood are hosting their first ever Belmar Day. So please come out and support our community. Kids eat for free. It's not the healthiest dinner, but it's free. So kids eat for free, and I myself will be showing off my pitching skills as I throw out the first pitch. And I promise not to bounce it before home plate or embarrass anyone. I promise not to bounce it twice before home plate or embarrass any of...
I've been working with him.
But I will be pitching better than the Mets have been pitching.
They did?
And very last, this Friday, there's a small place in the corner of 18th and Ocean called DJ's. They are having their opening party, and it's also a fundraiser. It's a $10 person fundraiser, so it's pretty inexpensive. And the money goes towards our Surfers Healing Camp that we have in September, that Franny Hines puts on. He does a phenomenal job. And I'd like to publicly thank our friends at DJ's for always being there for the and yeah, the ad you'll see in the paper, it says Rock for Autism. So please come out, and it'll also be a nice way for us to somewhat informally, as a community, kick off the summer season as well. So, I think I have one more. Oh, also back with the boardwalk, the other thing we lost that we sometimes don't think about are our playgrounds. Remember, Belmar had 4 free playgrounds on our beachfront. We actually had the most free playgrounds of any town, the Jersey Shore, from Sandy Hook down to Cape May, and they've started reconstructing them as well. And these are going to be even more interesting than last ones. One of the things that's somewhat out of our control are those incredibly ugly outflow pipes going across Ocean Avenue in Spring Lake. But I can report back that Spring Lake has commenced repair of the existing outflow pipe. An interlocal agreement to undertake the placement of pipes under Ocean Avenue is in the works, and the anticipated Belmar share is going to be $35,000. It's really not all that bad. To be funded through an existing bond on the water sewer utility, and we anticipate bringing that before the council interlocal agreement at our next meeting, which is May 15th. So if anyone's running the Spring Lake 5-miler, that usually goes around the lake, and I can tell you that they've already rerouted that so as not to make it a steeplechase. Oh, and one more thing. Jeez, I just keep going. I apologize for that. Beach replenishment. We have some really good news on beach replenishment. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is going out for bids for the placement of 2 million cubic yards of sand between Belmar and Manasquan. The solicitation begins on or about May 23rd. Opening bid will be on June 24th. So we're going to have the necessary easements for that. Now, one of the things you may have read about in the paper are some homeowners on the barrier island, particularly Manilokin, who don't want to give up easements, which means the Army Corps of Engineers will not do anything for any of the women in that area. So one person can hold up, replacement of dunes and beach replenishment for a whole community. Luckily, in our case, there is none. So we'll just do it as a council at our next meeting. And just to give you an idea on the cost of that, estimated cost is to be more than $10 million. Now, the reason why we're getting this now is because Belmar Lake, and Manasquan was already on a list for the Army Corps of Engineers before Sandy, but it was never funded. So the funding for this was part of that large $60 billion package that it took Congress 100 whatever days to finally pass. But you got to wonder how much better our town would have weathered the storm had that beach replenishment been done before Hurricane Sandy. Because we had significant loss during Irene, and then Hurricane Sandy made it worse. But at least we know it's coming. There are many other towns I know that are begging for it, and they're not even on the list yet. Yes?
With the mentioning of Manilokin being different, is that because there's a resident living on the beach property-wise? Is that what makes it different?
So our beach is owned by the borough of Belmar and people, whereas in Manilokin, even in Point Pleasant, the beach is actually privately owned. Manasquan, the west side of the walkway, is owned by the residents, owned by the private property owners, and then the residents of the town own the east side.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Whew. Jeez, that was long.
Can I have a question?
Yes.
The room, our community room, is now being vacated. And I wondered, is this a time for local organizations to sign on for use of the room?
It absolutely is. So we are going to take a few weeks to spruce up the joint and make it ready for organizations to have their meetings there, to have senior and community programming out of there. But we are going to start advertising the use of that space on the 35 side and on our website over the next week.
How does an organization go about signing on to that?
Sure.
Who do they see?
They're going to go see Kelly Williams, and also we have an email that we're going to set up for use of the community space.
Thank you.
Sure.
Next, as for approval a motion for approval of minutes?
Yes. I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on April 17th, 2013 be approved as recorded and that a copy thereof be posted on the borough's website.
Second.
Councilman Dyke?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Abstain.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Garrett?
Yes. Next are resolutions. First resolution authorizing payment of bills. Oh, I'm sorry. Next we have public session. So I'd like to open this up, public session on the resolution calendar. Any comments, questions, just on the resolution calendar itself? Just raise your hand if you're interested in. Yes, Dave.
I'd like to,
Just name and address for the record.
oh, David Schneck, 302 C Street. I'd like to request that the vote on the smoking sections be taken from the consent agenda and voted on separately. Can I do that?
I will make a motion, for other ones, and I'll throw that one in there as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you know, we want to be seen as being welcoming. We need as many visitors as we can get this year. And I think it's really a mistake to tell 25% of American adults that they're not really welcome here. And if they come here anyway, they have to stand in a little box all the way in the corner where nobody can see them. And it's not really right. It's kind of mean, you know, it's kind of demeaning. And, you know, the thing about this law is it's not stopping anyone from smoking on the beach. If you go to the beach, everyone's still smoking. The only thing it does is it makes them smokers susceptible now to getting an expensive ticket. But if you go to the beach and you see, people are not going into the little boxes up there. They're smoking wherever they are. You know, I happen to always go by the waterfront, and it's a very long walk, and I never do it. I did it one time last year, and got hit by a volleyball while I was in there. So it's kind of inhospitable, and I think kind of mean, and I think we should drop that, you know, and be nice to everybody that comes to visit. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments on the resolution calendar? Yes, Joe.
Joan Carollo, A Street. There's a resolution, something about beachfront advertising. What is that about?
This is to go out to bid and just see what may be out there. Doesn't commit us to anything, but just to see if anyone would be interested in advertising up on the beachfront, either at the trailers that we're going to have this summer, to see what kind of interest there is.
Do we have guidelines for what we would accept for advertising? I mean, I'm not a smoker, but I wouldn't want to see a big ad for a pack of cigarettes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we do have some guidelines that we would follow?
Yeah, and again, interested in seeing what would be out there, what people would propose. You know, one person came to us, actually Geico, and they had a design of gecko as their mascot, but sort of their trademark nowadays, gecko with like shorts and a surfboard on a beach. And, you know, so we're going to see, you know, if there's any.
I'm just concerned that, you know, what type of advertising. So as long as somebody's
We
checking
will
it out.
not advertise alcohol, tobacco, or firearms. So, our Tea Party friends will be upset with that. I'll make a motion to close the public portion for resolution calendar.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Next will be the resolution of payment of bills list. I'll offer and move for its adoption.
Second?
Councilman Dyke?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
No, I got this bill list, it's, how many pages? This big thick bill list. I got this at 4:56 p.m. today. Now, they want me to go through this and make sure I know, understand everything that's on it and vote on it within an hour, even though I have to drive home, get dressed, get everything ready. That's why I was running late. I was printing it out, trying to look through it all. I did find a couple questions real quick. What is the fuel things we're buying? Colleen, do you know?
We have commenced repair to our fuel docks, our retail docks, to try to get up and running in time for the retail season.
It's for the boating,
Yep.
not for our pumps, and we're not gonna go new
No.
for the cars and stuff, we're going for the
No,
boats.
this was to repair what was damaged in the storm.
All right, and I did see more client number 9, so I'm gonna abstain, because we have more people where I don't know where this money's going. For hurricane relief, thousands of dollars, so I'm not voting on anything I don't know where it's going to, so I'm gonna abstain. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Next is a resolution honoring and recognizing the service of the community of all first responders and authorizing free beach admission during the 2013 beach season to all active first responders pursuant to the Borough Belmar Borough Ordinance Section 18-2.5. Over the last couple of years, we have, in 2011, we provided, we have in the last few years, always provided free beach access to all active military and their families. In 2011, we expanded that to all volunteer fire, first aid, EMTs in Belmar. Last year, 2012, we expanded that to all volunteer fire, first aid, EMTs for Monmouth County. This year, particularly in the wake of the tremendous support we got from law enforcement, first responders throughout the country, we are providing, for the individual, not for their family, but providing free beach access to all police, fire, first responders throughout the entire country. So I will offer and move for that adoption.
Second.
Councilman Detti?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
You know, last year, well, I went back, I pulled the State of New Jersey's Act of C40:61-22-20, and it really lists what we're allowed to do with our beachfront. The whole problem is, we don't own our beachfront, the state of New Jersey owns our beach, and I'll be the first one to tell you that these rules are a mess of what we're allowed to do and not allowed to do, and I don't agree with them at all, but just because I don't agree with them doesn't mean that I can just throw away the rules. The 4 people they allow are a person 65 years or older, disability, if they meet the disability criteria, persons in active duty service, which is okay because on our consent agenda we have those people mentioned, and also persons, active duty members of New Jersey National Guard. And even so far as to pull up from our code book of what we're quoting, and it says that we're allowed to give free access to participants or spectators at special beach events, programs, or promotions. And I don't see anywhere where, because we really, really like people and we can do a great job, we're allowed to just give them free beach access. You know what, I think it's a great idea, I would love to do this, but just because I want to do it doesn't mean I'm allowed to break the rules, so I'm voting no.
Councilman Nicolay?
I just have a quick question, just in case I am asked, if people qualify for it, are they able to just purchase a season pass or is it more daily?
It would be daily. Director Campbell is now going to be managing the day-to-day operations of the beachfront. And what someone will do, come up with your badge that says you're a sheriff's officer in Mercer County. You show that, and you can get access at the gate.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, and I think it's going to be, hopefully it's taken advantage of and something we're going to promote aggressively. It's a good marketing tool for the beach as well.
Mr. DuPont, what is your opinion about what Councilman Bean offered?
Councilman Bean and I had a discussion, I think, a few months ago, and
Can you speak up?
I beg your pardon?
Speak up, please.
Councilman Bean and I had this discussion a few months ago, and I differed on the opinion. I think you're able to do this, and I do agree that the beach rules are a little confusing, but I think you're able to do this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now would be the consent agenda. Does any member of the council wish to remove an item from the consent agenda?
I'd like to make a motion to pull 2 of them. Resolution modifying all leases for beachfronts, and the resolution creating smoking areas on the beach.
I'll second.
Councilman Decky?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Nicholas?
Yes.
Mayor Garrett?
Yes. I'll offer and move for its adoption, resolution modifying all uses of beachfront concessions in Borough of Belmar, County, New Jersey.
Second.
Councilman Decky?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
What's this for, I'm sorry? This is for the...
Leases.
Okay, I just want to know how much each lease is going for, since we changed all the leases.
Well, these are the
3 trailers.
tenants,
Okay.
4 tenants who had their businesses destroyed during Sandy, that have built their businesses over time and wanted to stay up at the Belmar Beach. I think it's a wise business decision to stay loyal to them, as they stayed loyal to us. And what we did is we took their existing leases, divided it by 12, multiply it by how long we're going to have those trailers. So they're still paying the same rate, but it's just for a shorter amount of time because, for instance, right now they exit 98 can't sell clothing on Belmar Beach because there's nothing there. So they're going to be paying for the time, them and the others. It would be Jake's Crab Shack, Annie's, 10th Avenue Freeze Out, and Exit 98. So that's who we're voting on tonight. A yes is to approve this, a no is not.
So you won't tell me how much each one? We redid the leases. How, $42,000 per trailer. How much are we getting per trailer? Anybody know?
Brandl's year-round lease is $24,000 and change, so they're going to be paying about $10,000. Annie's is $40,000 and change, they're going to be about $17,000. 10th Ave is $32,000 and change, they're going to be about $13,500. Exit 98 is $19,800, so they're going to be paying about $8,200.
You want me to sit here and do the math? I mean, for the 5 months, how much are they paying? Are we going to get our money back for these $4,200 in trailers?
They're going to be paying less than the trailers cost us.
Any idea? How much less? $5? $10?
$10.
$10 less. Want to record that?
But I'm sure you are able to do third grade math, so.
Hold on. Let's see. Third grade math. Okay. Brando, you know what? I'd like to know how much we're making, losing, because there were other ideas out there where both parties would have won in this situation instead of people losing money. So I just want to know on each one, is it reasonable? That's what I'm looking for.
If it wasn't reasonable, we wouldn't be doing it.
Well, that's my opinion. I'd like to make it myself. Okay, Brando's, how much for the 5 months?
$10,000, a little over 10,100.
For all 5 months, so $50,000 for all 5 months? Or $10,000 for the 5?
You asked me how much they're going to pay for the 5 months.
Correct, $10,000 for all 5 months.
$10,000.
For all 5 months. So we gave it a trailer for $42,000 that we're only getting $10,000 back on.
Well, it's actually going to be less than $42,000 because it's not going to be the whole time. But
All right, I'll give you $40,000. Plus, we're adding in the electric and water that we're paying for.
Whatever is specified in the leases.
Okay, what about Brandon, or David on 8th Avenue?
$17,000.
$17,000, and how about 10?
$13,500.
Okay, and 10th Avenue, okay.
Excuse me?
The last one.
Exit 98.
Oh, $8,200.
8,200. Okay. I thought there were better ideas out there. We did not have to take this hit. This is ridiculous. I'm voting no.
Councilman Nicholas?
Yes.
Mayor Garrett?
Yes. Next is resolution creating smoking areas on the beach. I'll offer and move for its adoption.
Second.
Councilman Decky?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Where's Dave? Dave, listen. We don't allow smoking on the beach. I'm sorry, we don't allow drinking on the beach. We don't allow a whole bunch of things on the beach. And I read very carefully through this, the same rules I read about giving away the free beach access. And we are allowed to make rules to make our beach cleaner and safer. And you know what? If they allowed smoking, or I'm sorry, if they allowed drinking, I'd say let them allow smoking. They do not. We've never had that. So I'm voting no.
Oh, boo.
Councilman Nicholas?
Oh, Oh, I'm voting yes.
You already said no. You already said no.
I'm a maybe.
I want to pass.
Yes.
Yes. Next, I'll make I'll offer a motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda. Need a second?
Second.
Councilman Decky?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Nicholas?
Yes.
Mayor Perry?
Yes. Next is first reading introduction. This is ordinance 2013-7. We're going to ask Bill Northgrave, our redevelopment attorney, to come up and explain this to us. This ordinance of the Borough of Belmar, Monmouth County, State of New Jersey, authorizing exemption from taxes under the 5-year exemption and abatement law. This is the tax abatement program we want to put in place for both residents and commercial properties throughout the entire town. If you recall, 3 meetings ago, we passed a resolution because we're required by the state to place the entire town in an area in need of rehabilitation. So, Mr. Northgrave, how are you today?
Very well, Mayor. How are you?
Very well.
Congratulations on your boardwalk.
Thank you. Would you mind explaining this ordinance to the council?
Basically what a 5-year tax abatement program does is allows you to encourage your residents, your businesses to invest in their properties and put off some of the immediate tax impact of those investments, whether it's in new construction or improvements. You're not going to lose any money by doing this, at least on your current base. It's not going to cut into your current base. What it is, you're going to get a little bit less for the next 5 years, depending upon the type of abatement it is. But by doing so, you encourage people to make improvements to their property that maybe they otherwise wouldn't make. If I recall correctly, and the mayor will correct me if I am wrong, we first started thinking about this really as almost an economic issue before the storm hit and impacted Belmar so heavily. The idea being, you can not only encourage people to invest in their homes or in their businesses, but you can also hopefully put people who are, the craft people, tradespeople, create some economic opportunity for them, which rising tide raises all boats. So that was the original thought, and then it got accelerated once the storm hit this community so hard. So that's the basic idea. I can explain the specifics of it if you want, but there's various different, depending upon what you're doing, there's a different treatment. If you're improving your dwelling, that's one thing. If you're building a new dwelling, that's another thing. If it's a multifamily dwelling, that's another thing. It's commercial structure. Commercial, industrial, and multifamilies are basically treated the same.
But the way you authored this is the maximum abatement allowed for our residents and business owners under state law, correct?
Yes. Yes.
One of the questions that came up is, let's say an individual's house gets destroyed, and they use FEMA money and they use SBA loan money, their home insurance money, and possibly even community development block grant money that flows through the state, and they rebuild it. And originally, let's say it was assessed at $400,000 on October 28th. And now it gets rebuilt, and it's, let's say it's February of 2014. And when it's completed, it gets assessed at $500,000. So it's increased in the assessed value. It's whatever the improvement is. Will that person, even though they had a collection of different areas where the money came from, would they still be able to take advantage of this program and get the maximum tax abatement in the ordinance?
Yes, as long as there's an increase in the assessment, then they would be eligible to receive the abatement.
And I think it's important for the council to understand, not everyone's going to be eligible because some people are just going to do repairs and it's not going to increase the assessed value. So if you don't increase the assessed value, there's no abatement. But if you make improvements beyond just repairs, that's when the assessed value would increase, and that's when you would be eligible for the abatement.
Right. So you have your floor, and your floor is where you're at now. If there's a bump above the floor, then this could be applicable to you, assuming that there is an increase in the assessed value, and that would be subject to your tax assessment.
Do you have to wait for the assessment to be done, though? That's not very consistent.
No, there's 3 or 4 different scenarios, but you would make the application as soon as you're ready to pull the CO or the approval, then you would make the application and actually have to have it in within 30 days of making it. Saturdays and Sundays are included, so that's one of the things you want to be sure. Actually, the ordinance talks about just disseminating this as widely as you can, as quickly as you can, so that people don't miss the time frame, because it's a hard and fast state statutory deadline. You wouldn't be able to extend it. If someone comes on the 31st day, the answer is unfortunately sorry, we can't help you.
And would everybody just go by the current or the last assessment?
Whatever the current assessment is, yeah.
Current one.
Yeah, whatever the current assessment is for that particular
So it
property.
would have been pre-Sandy.
Yeah, presumably, unless there's an intervening tax appeal or something like that, whatever that would be.
April, the one you sent out today, is it different than the one we got Friday?
I think it was just spelling and there was a spelling correction.
Okay, with nothing else, I did go through the one and
No,
didn't go through the other
not
one.
substantively changed.
Okay. Question on the improvement, in no case shall it include the repair of fire or other property damage for which a claim was received by any person from an insurance company. The word repair in there, I guess that definition of repair, I look under, your definitions, it's not in here. What's considered repair? If my entire first floor gets wiped out and I have to rebuild it from the storm and I make it real nice, because let's say it was bad to begin with, is that considered repair? I mean, it's going to increase my value.
No, it goes to your value. The idea that, and the language you're quoting is from the statute, but the concept there is that if you're increasing the value, then if you're looking for this protection, you can get this protection on the improvement.
But can we just cross that part out?
No, the state statute is, the ordinance has to be consistent with what the state statute requires.
Because I don't like the fact that, it says right here that if you get insurance, they could throw a wrench in this whole thing. For which payment of a claim was received by any person from an insurance company at any time during the 3 years immediately preceding.
I guess, Councilman, the answer, I misspoke. The answer is, you're the legislative body. If you want to strike that out, I will give you advice that I would not strike that out. I think the ordinance is applicable and can be applied successfully without striking that language out. But as I say to the mayor all the time, I work for you. I work for all of you. If you think it's appropriate to strike it out, then by all means, strike it out. And this is introduction. I'll defer to Mr. DePont as to how you deal with an ordinance on introduction, but I think you can make a motion to amend if you care to. I don't, candidly, the language does not concern me, but if it concerns you, you are the elected official here.
I mean, just if we get rid of the or other damage to property, flood damage is what I'm really thinking for everybody that got flooded out. That's my opinion.
And I respect that. That's that's in your purview.
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Milgrave? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I need to make a motion to introduce ordinance 2013.
Second?
Councilman Duffin?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
If they get rid of the words or other damage to property, I will vote in favor. But until those words are removed, I'm voting no.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Darrell?
Yes. That takes care of our ordinance calendar. Next is public session. Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. I will.
Thank you. Good to see you all again. Congratulations on your board. Nice job.
The way public session works, very simple. Stay seated, raise your hand. If you're called on, go to the microphone, state your name, your address, and then you have 5 minutes. You can either ask questions for that 5 minutes and get a response, or you can speak for 5 minutes. We'll be.
I'll give the lead to Ted.
Oh, great.
Maria Florio, 115 12th Avenue. Well, now that we have a beautiful boardwalk, no mentioning about improving the signs of no dogs or no bicycle. Is there anything about that?
Improving the signs.
The signs, you know, we have those little signs that say no dogs, no bicycles, no nothing.
We'll
When
probably
we-
have them back.
Those, those little things that people don't pay attention to, that they don't. Not bigger, but I know in Spring Lake, when you're going up the steps, they have no doors, no nothing. I mean, they don't abide by those little signs. Can you do that? Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Kevin Sozik, 107 14th Avenue, 114th Avenue, 105 14th Avenue. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you guys. You guys did a firecracker job down here, and I love the beach the way it is. My concern is, I own some rentals down here, my family does, and I went for COs today, and I was told by Sharon I have to wait 17, 16 days for a CO because it's only one person doing part-time work. And if I fail the CO inspection, I'm not guaranteed I'll have another inspection within the time frame getting for Memorial Day. And I was wondering if, in the past, the town only did COs without conditional COs as far as fire, smoke, hot water, I mean, the basic safety measures. Will the town be, at this point, do conditional COs? I don't know how to address this.
We'll try to expedite it, but why, I guess my question is, why would you fail an inspection?
Well, in the past, if I had, let's say, a cracked piece of soffit or lattice that was broken, had a snap in it, I would have to repair the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to.
Little tedious things, not
Right.
life-threatening, just landscape type. From the eye view, let's say paint that doesn't look like it's really painted that well. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I've never owned a summer rental,
Okay.
but, you know, I mean, my suggestion would just be to have it done so you pass the inspection.
in the past, I always had to go through, something wasn't clean right, the shade wasn't clean, I had to take down the window shade and actually scrub it down even more than it was. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to get to.
Somewhat, I just don't understand why I wouldn't.
Well, let's say if I do fail in 2.5 weeks, and then I have to wait till after Memorial Day to get another inspection, I have to wait more than another week. What I'm saying is, will the town give a conditional CO if it's not life-threatening?
I will find out for you. If you can give your information to Colleen, she'll.
Okay, I appreciate it, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Yes.
Ted Eman, Oakwood Road, Belmar. Good evening. I wasn't in favor of the designation for rehabilitation. I'm sure you know, and I've complained about that both meetings. And I'm really not happy about the whole process. Bond Ordinance 2013-07, which you just voted on, is not what you sold us.
It's not a bond.
I mean, I'm sorry, the tax abatement ordinance that you just voted on. All through the discussion, everything was preceded with because of Hurricane Sandy, homes, a lot of old homes in town being damaged, Hurricane Sandy. Even in our minutes, William Norgrave said, it's in the minutes that it was about Hurricane Sandy and this is an opportunity, so that's what we've been talking about. We talked about it on the 16th and the 20th, and now we have the ordinance, and I don't see Hurricane Sandy anywhere, and this is supposed to be our ordinance, fashioned our way because of our needs. And what I'm looking at, and I've been online all day, I've looked at Millville, Washington, New Jersey, several, like 5 or 6 different redevelopment, rehabilitation ordinances for tax rebates. First of all of them were about 5 pages long. I've never saw anything this long. I never saw the language that, in fact, that Councilman Bean asked about, where there was exclusion for damage caused by fire. That wasn't in any of those. And I look at the front page, and it brings back what Gene Creamer said in the initial review. When he looked at this and he tore it apart, he said, well, you're missing this, you're missing that. There's a lot of typos. Why do we want to overall develop Belmar. And that, I don't know if any of you remember that. And here it is. The language of this ordinance is all about construction, residential, and commercial industrial structures. It's not even in here. And then, as I said, I looked at a lot of different ordinances for tax rebates for rehabilitation and redevelopment. None of them excluded non-owner occupied dwellings. This is a unique town. We have a lot of dwellings here that sure could use some sprucing up. And this ordinance that you just voted on and approved excludes any owner if the owner is not occupying it, they cannot apply for this abatement. Again, that's a very Belmar thing. You would think you want something more inclusive to really hit home about those old properties that you're talking about, Mayor, that you said were damaged in the storm, and this is an opportunity for people to do the repairs and at the same time do improvements, and they're excluded in this. So it's like, and William Norgrave said in the first meeting, he said again tonight, it's the way you want to make it, but if this is what you're making, you know, Gene Creamer and I were right all the way back on the 16th. And Gene, I hope you noticed that, you remember that thing for this has to go through an approval by a development officer. Remember the development officer?
Address the council.
All right. Well, Gene brought this up, and you said we don't have a development officer. And William Norgrave was standing there, and we don't have a development officer. So what's it doing in here? This is the second time. Do we have to come back a third time, Gene and I, and say, why do you have an approval going to a develop officer when we don't have one in Belmar? Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none? Oh, yes, sir.
Hi, Phil Strauss, Oak Road. I remember when you first put the redevelopment rehabilitation thing through, one of the criteria you used was the sewers being 50 years old, right? Is that right? That was one of the criteria for the thing?
I'd have to look at the resolution.
Yeah, I think it was. It was somebody claimed that the sewers were 50 years old, so that gave you one of the reasons why you could claim the entire town for redevelopment. Well, last week, one of the gentlemen from Pine Tree showed you the water from the sewer.
No.
Right? You remember that?
It wasn't from the sewer.
It was from his tap. Right, it was from his tap that came through the water lines. That was a little bit brown.
Right. Water line, not a sewer line.
Right, well, okay, water line. Is the water line kind of the same as the sewer as far as the redevelopment goes? It's underground, it needs to be dug up to be fixed.
I would guess there are some water pipes that are more than 50 years old.
Absolutely.
Right, but I mean, I remember you said to him, well, you know, it's kind of underground and we don't have the money to repair this, remember?
Well, I told him it's underground.
Right, but I mean,
But
see what, I mean, now we're paving Main Street, we're paved 35, and I've been checking my water all week long over on Oakwood Road, and I don't know, Claire, if your water's the same as mine, you live close to me, but the water is like gold. If I was panning for gold, I'd be rich by now. So, you know, now you're gonna have the pavement, the Main Street paved, and you're still not gonna do anything about the water.
Well, the paving on 35 is being done by the state of New Jersey, and the paving on Main Street is being done by Monmouth County.
Right, but I mean,
Neither one of them have anything to
see,
do-
what my concern is,
Neither one of them have anything to do with water.
all right, well, my concern is, I'm drinking this water now, and I remember you were talking about the fact that the water company changed the way they did things the last 2 years or so, and I've been like feeling sick for the last 2 years, and I don't know why. I hope it's not from the water. Is anybody gonna test the water?
Our Department of Public Works tests the water. Mike, really good
We do test the water, and the American Water, we met with the American Water Company. They're testing the water. We just took 14 more samples. We do test it, and everything is passed so far.
Can we open that so I can see what it said, what the report says?
Sure, I can get them.
I can do that?
Well, I can get them from you, from the water company. I'll get them for you.
I just wanna make sure I'm not drinking like something that's causing the problems that I'm having.
A good concern, and I'll make sure you get the results.
Okay, I appreciate that, thank you.
Ms. Thomas.
Tom Volker, 301 4th Avenue, Belmar. Councilwoman Dyke, I'm sorry I gave you the wrong date for the planting. It's the 4th, this Saturday, not the 11th.
Okay.
And,
You did,
and
I thought, did I give you the wrong?
no, I gave you the wrong date.
Okay.
I gave you the wrong date.
So
It's May 4th,
Okay.
Saturday, 8 o'clock. These flowers purchased by the Belmar Business Partnership and were secured by the Belmar Garden Spot. RJ gave us a price that was equal to what the good guys at DPW did for us last year. They got us a real good price, and RJ met the price. So we'll meet at 8 o'clock. Volunteers from the Belmar Beautification Committee, the Art Council, the Historical Council, and a historical guy like me, and other worthy volunteers will be out there putting these plants around the trees. Thank you for mentioning it. The other thing I want to do is thank Mayor and Council for allowing the businesses in Belmar to put an ad, a free ad, on the digital sign. It's very helpful to us, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Tom, I have about 25 brownies, Girl Scout brownies. I wish I had brownies.
Yes.
25 brownies that can help with the planting of the flowers, and we'll see how many we can get together Saturday, but if there's another date that can also help, we can work on that.
No, don't eat the flowers.
They need a project within Belmar that they want to help out with.
Thank you.
Yes, Janice.
Good evening. Janice Karen Blackburn, River Court. I've lived here 15 years, and the road behind the municipal building has been horrible. Congratulations. I drove on it on Thursday night for the first time and was absolutely shocked. It looks beautiful, and it feels really great under your car. So, thanks.
You know, I had no idea that we would have that many parking spaces, and that's going to be a blessing to the marina. In terms of, there's a concern about parking and restaurants, so if people know, our restaurant goers, that those parking spaces are available, that's a big help.
And for them not having to cross 35 to get to the marina. That's excellent.
Yes, Chief.
Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is Gene Murray. I live at 710 8th Avenue, Belmar. I wanted to say this last meeting, but we got cut off. You cut us off. I was reading the paper. I was reading in the paper a lot about, about getting the free dinners. And one man said in the paper that we should instead of thanking you, don't thank the messenger, thank the people who gave it to you, Well, I was brought up to say, don't shoot the messenger. And now, it doesn't say that I go into every restaurant that I got a free ticket off and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. What we do, like here, our seniors, we go back there again and again. Like we went to the bar Anticipation. Now, I got a $25 card from there. And I spent it, and I go back there again. And I feel rejuvenated. I mean, the people are really nice. They're nice people. So with that $25, they made a lot of money on us, which they should. They're DJs, we like DJs. Again, you feel rejuvenated. And then there was something else about there about you giving these out so you were trying to get votes. Well, I think that's despicable. And I'm speaking for the people in our building. We got World War II veterans, Korean veterans, we got the Cold War veterans, we got people that were in Vietnam. And for somebody to make a suggestion that we'd sell our vote for $25, you stink. It stinks. And I have nothing more, it's nothing more despicable to somebody to say that you're trying to buy our votes. And I'm telling you, Mr. Mayor, if you gave us 2 cents, you'd get my vote anyway. So I'd just like to make that clear. Thank you.
Good evening, Angela Pfeiffer, 319 Fifth Avenue. I received a certified mail from Birdsall regarding the lake.
Yes.
And there's an attachment as to what they're going to do, except you can't read it because it's very, very small.
Right.
So my question is, it says that they're going to restore the lake subsequent to Hurricane Sandy. Rumor has it that the dirt around the lake is toxic. Could that just be addressed? Could you just let us know what's going on?
And I actually think we're going to set up an email account called rumors@belmar.com.
That's why I said rumor has it.
So yeah, we have the rumors that let's see, the sand is the soil is contaminated, that there's going to be bars on Ocean Avenue. We got all kinds of fun rumors. Basically, Silver Lake is going to be restored as best as possible to what it was before. Obviously, we've dredged and built up the sides of it so that it will be able to hold more water for future storms. Yeah, again, if we have another Sandy, all bets are off, but for thunderstorms in the past, it would flash flood. You know, Birdsall did that, and what we should probably do is send a follow-up letter to all that and give a better explanation. But one of the things we did on the council meeting tonight was award the contract to someone to start reconstructing that, put the cinder path back, flowers, grass. You know, hopefully it's done in time for Memorial Day, but that may be pushing a bit. But the idea is to get Silver Lake restored. There will be topsoil on top of that dredge material, because the dredge material is not necessarily the best from what we understand for plantings.
Right.
But so you'll see topsoil on top of it. But DEP checked the soil. It's totally fine. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say 100% non-toxic. This is really to restore back to what we lost during the storm, all the work the mayor just outlined. And this is part of the DEP permitting process.
Okay.
Certainly, and actually a lot of this corresponds to what we already scooped out of the lake that has been tested.
So basically, it's going to go back to the way it was. It's going to be higher. There'll still be the road
It's not
around.
going to look exactly like it.
Okay.
Nothing really will. But it'll go back to an attractive looking, you know, scenery. I mean, right now it looks like
I know.
hell.
I know.
And it's looked like that for a while. Obviously, we've been doing a lot of
Hey,
things
listen,
around town.
there were other priorities, I get that, but I just got concerned when I got this and didn't really explain, and then the rumors are flying, so I said,
Do you know why they had to send that with it?
That's part of the public notice requirement of the dredging part of the project, which was actually completed under the emergency. So some of this is really just government bureaucracy.
Yeah, and I got regular mail and certified mail, really?
The law
Yeah,
requires it.
that's scary, right?
Yes, at our recent last two ADA meetings, we had discussion about handicap access around the lake.
Yes.
Did we talk about that?
We did, yes.
And we were thinking of people who want to be by the lake, who might be with a walker or with crutches or with a wheelchair. So, you know, we could look into some kind of access there as we, you know, not similar to the beach because it's very different. But if we could do that, or if we could think about that and how we could achieve that, we'd be very happy with that.
Absolutely. And there's a couple of different points a couple of different access points where I think that might be maximized to create a better pathway of access to the waterfront so that you can enjoy the activities on, you know, right on the lake. So those are definitely on our radar and we're going to be discussing those.
I have a question for Mr. Murray, if I may. Your facility was without electricity for how many days?
16.
Okay, so during that time you had no refrigeration, is that correct?
No.
Correct?
Correct. We had no.
So that you would be in need of those food cards. You know, there was inference that you were not impacted by Sandy, but if you had no refrigeration, and I know there was a fire there,
Right.
so that you people were in pretty bad straits.
Yes, but they sent food over to us, but
Yes.
we were in need because we lost all our food.
Yeah.
In the refrigerator.
So whether directly or indirectly, you were impacted by Sandy.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I just have two questions with regards to Silver Lake and developing or preparing it. I have been asked by many, many people, and I don't know the timeline on it, but if it will be ready for seafood festival. Not just the lake, but the lawn area in front of the gazebo, and I just wanted to check on that.
It will. I mean, an honest concern of mine is that we are going to potentially plant grass that gets trampled for seafood festival, but we're going to mitigate those concerns and find out the best way to roll out the completion of the project so that we can facilitate our Belmar traditional events and still make sure that the lake is rejuvenated.
And my two children want to know if that little bridge leading over to the island, if that could stay.
No.
I already heard that I think they went over, I hope not, but.
I hope not.
So they love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
A question for our director. Regarding the gazebo, can you tell us the status of that? I know people use it in the summer, people get married there. I've married people there, I've done the ceremony, not married on it. But, can you tell us the status of it?
The electricity was completely knocked out, and there are some boards and rails that need to be repaired. It's not total by any means.
But that thing was sitting in water for 6
Correct.
days until we get the water out. It's still okay underneath? I mean, no one's gonna walk on that and end up falling through? It's structurally sound?
The lucky part of the gazebo is the flooring and everything that had been there since the original gazebo was just replaced the summer before the storm. So everything was done, it was braced up, obviously brought up to code, which was not before. But had we not done that, it would have been an issue. Right now, our people and Bergsville have looked at it, and we're comfortable that we can repair that.
Great, thank you.
I just have one other thing to say. I mentioned earlier about the ADA's desire to have a ramp or some kind of access at the train station. I'm looking for support of my council members in this regard. If they come to Belmar, and I requested that in the letter, I didn't write as if it isn't a possibility. I wrote, we're going to have it. So I suggested that we have a meeting at the train station. So I will alert you, but I'm looking for your support on that because it's something we really need.
Absolutely.
Okay? Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
You're welcome.
Yes, Tom.
Tom Burke, 608 10th Avenue. It's my understanding that the next meeting, we're going to have a hearing on the SID. Is that correct? Scheduled for the 15th. Have they submitted a budget as yet?
Yes, they
It was
have.
introduced last meeting.
It was last meeting. Did I get it? I would like to have a copy of that. Has
Probably put out loud.
I didn't see one. The meeting then will be on the budget, or will it be for the approval of the budget? What's the purpose of the?
It's a hearing on the budget, and then the council will vote to approve or not.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I forgot to make a comment about the art walk this past weekend. I don't know if anybody was able to attend or go up and down Main Street. I thought it was great. We spent hours and hours, my whole family, going up and down Main Street, going into the different shops, looking at the different artists that had their artwork displayed out on the sidewalk. So I encourage next year when they do it again that you attend because it was really a nice event. Just wanted to add that.
Right.
Brendan Reed, 109th Avenue. Yeah, first I want to commend council for passing the resolutions honoring the first responders and active military service personnel by giving them further beat passes for them and their families. And on that point, given that many of the first responders and military personnel who came to our community at our time of need were from out of town, I'm talking about like the National Guard, the Mississippi State Troopers, we showed our days, that came with us protecting our streets, protecting our communities, protecting our homes and businesses. I was wondering if we could perhaps extend a special invitation to them to come to Belmar this summer. Maybe we can offer a special day for them, and just to show just how much respect and show how much we've come back as a community from what happened 6 months ago.
Great idea.
Military Appreciation Day is coming up, so we can get the National Guard that was here and, give them a round of applause, the ones patrolling our streets. I think it's a great idea you have.
Yeah, and I also think with the Mississippi State Troopers, and given our relation with Pastor Christian, and given that we're all in together, You know, with hurricanes, we got the hurricane season, which begins June 1st again, so, you know, it's all about helping each other and just letting them know and honoring them, because, you know, they may need our support, we may need theirs, and that's what it's about. Secondly, talking on the issue of Ocean Avenue, one of the issues that came up at the police meeting at our building, Ocean Harbor Apartments, was the blind spots that we have. Now that with Ocean Avenue being open, the access from our parking lot is now open, and that leads to a couple of blind spots. And there's been a number of near misses with some of the tenants, including myself, especially if you got some SUVs parked over there, you can't see around them. I'm wondering if that could be issued, especially now with traffic increasing.
Well, we can have our police department take a, do you know about the time?
We'll look at it and see, where the parking area is, and send it to see if there is one.
There's one spot in particular that he's talking about, that I was there, and you can't see past it, there's a big car there, so. It's right in front of.
At the beach, their beach nut or their.
The beach on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that one spot, it's just
Yeah,
one car,
it's,
and it's,
you know, even when you got a small vehicle there, you're coming because the street access just kind of dips slightly.
Okay.
And you just have to kind of crane around, have to be kind of be situationally aware
just
there.
make it for motorcycle parking only, or, something.
Yeah.
You could be creative with it. We don't have to lose the spot, let's just be creative with it.
Exactly. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Connie Highland. I'm here tonight from New Jersey Hope and Healing. We are a group of, we're a project that's funded through FEMA, and we have been working with FEMA right here, providing crisis counseling, extra emotional support to people that have been impacted by Sandy, that are, suffering the emotional consequences of Sandy and this whole recovery. We recognize people are resilient, but sometimes people need somebody to talk to, organize their thoughts. Some people react to the stress differently. So we've been with FEMA, but as FEMA has been preparing to close, we've been reaching out to the community, and we wanted to make sure that the community know we're here. We're going to be talking to business owners, we've been talking to you guys, and attending community events. But right now, we've secured a spot in Lake Como Municipal Site on Wednesdays. We'll be there. We'll be staffing that from 9 to 12, and then 4 to 8. Just if your residents want to come in and talk, we'll be there. We're working with Colleen to secure an area where we can be here in town in Belmar for a while. Again, this is all free. This is funded through FEMA, and it's just giving somebody more connections to resources and somebody to talk to, a compassionate presence. Through attending a lot of the things, like with MOVE, we're collecting the resources. We're still in contact, we're connected with the Mental Health Association in Jersey, so we get a lot of the resources that we attend. We have members that attend the long-term recovery committee, so we are also collecting all these resources that we're trying to pass on to people as well. So we just want to make sure people know we're here, and they can have somebody to come and talk to, and maybe we have information, maybe they don't. So, as people are sort of, we're at the 6-month mark, obviously this is still a very big issue. It's what's, on everybody's mind, and as people, become frustrated with this whole recovery effort, we're still here.
Did you say that our schools are aware of it? You're working with the schools?
No, working with Colleen, we would like the schools to be aware of it. We've been trying to reach out to some of the schools in the districts because we have counselors that are also trained in classroom-based intervention. So if you have a connection there, I can pass that information on to our team leaders, and we can get some staff in to maybe talk with some of the schools that works with the families, right? So we have a program for
I would
that.
highly recommend informing the schools, especially before they let out, that they can send a flyer home with the information and put contact our website, and also letting the local churches, the local parishes know.
Yes.
Into their bulletins.
Yeah.
Because I think that they can just keep it, take it home, and have the number, on hand if needed.
Yeah, we've been, we were visiting with Pastor Grace Scarl, and Pastor Nancy. We've talked to them, we've reached out to them. We know they've taken on quite a bit, and we're trying to share some of that with them. Okay. All right.
And thank you for everything you did for our community. talk about in Belmar, we try to take care of our own.
Yeah, you do.
But we really did need a lot of help as well, and you know, tremendous amount of support that you provided and other folks that worked with you, so thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. We're very happy.
Yes, sir.
Mark Pfeiffer, 319 Fifth Avenue. One thing on the map I could read is regards the walkway, and it says proposed stone dust walkway. And I believe that's the surface they had last time, similar to that. I'd just like to suggest that the council consider another type of surface. When I walk with grandchildren and that, little kids, what do? With stones, they kick it up. And it says dust for a reason. Dust is coming up. So for kids, for pets, even joggers, it can tend to be a little bit slippery. You know, black concrete ideal, but maybe we can consider some other type of surface if we're doing that.
Yeah, you know what would be nice, and I've seen some other places, is where you have the cinder, and it's maybe 3 feet wide or however wide, and then next to that is a solid surface. You know, right now, we're just trying to get this back to what it looked like before and try to keep the cost under control. But certainly in the future, I think that'd be worth exploring, particularly for folks in wheelchairs or folks with strollers. Obviously, it's a lot easier to push a wheeled vehicle or wheeled thing.
Every so often.
Yeah.
Right, the carriages.
So we'll look into it again. We'll see what the cost is.
Right. Well, that's what I meant. You know, look at the difference in what we're doing and if it makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
I forgot something.
Yes,
I need to tell you guys. I think it's really important to add that we are also starting support groups. So if you know anyone, if the community knows anybody that is interested in starting support groups, we've been really doing this all throughout different counties, all throughout Monmouth County. But we are starting, we're going to try to start one in Lake Como, and we want to make sure that people know we're also doing that. That tends to be a nice opportunity for people to share and share resources. So, okay, sorry.
Thank you. Yes, Thomas.
I just have one small thing.
Name and address, please.
Tom Dilberger, 1000 River Road. On the boardwalk, now you're gonna have a railing towards the beach, on that perimeter, towards the beach, right?
No. Where the stairs are and where you would enter the beach. You're right. So where the ramp goes down and where the steps go down. But outside of that, no, it'll be a clear view.
You're not gonna have a railing on the beach end?
No.
The beach side, where we did before. Remember we had the railing on that
Not
side?
last year. No, we didn't. It had it years ago. Many, it did have it years ago, but not last year. We had it in certain areas, but in general.
Certain areas, right where the entrance is,
what do you call it?
All right.
Snow fencing.
Well, there's not gonna be one on the roadway side either.
No.
Okay.
So you gotta be careful not to fall off.
Just to clarify, just the access on and access off.
She's right, they were by the playground.
Yeah, we're by the playground. I have to look at this back.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't very long, north or south.
They're by the beach.
That was not the whole thing. But more or less, it's gonna look pretty much like it was in the past. We're not adding anything more because of the constructive view of like.
We have the plans and shrubs.
We are looking at this shrub. Yes, David.
David Schneck, 302 C Street. I'll be brief, actually. Tom got one of my questions answered already. The ads, thank you. The ads, any revenue that we get from the ads, from advertising, that's going to stay in the beach utility, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I might suggest like where the railings are, maybe from the railing down to the boardwalk, so you know, that's not really gonna block anybody's view of the beach because it's like from waist level down, but when you're walking down the boardwalk, you still see it. As far as who, you know, I had suggested that we try to find corporate sponsors, people for the beaches, companies that are actually beach-related companies like Hang Ten and Ray-Ban and Billabong and such, O'Neill. So maybe we could ask companies like that first. You know, I don't want to see ads for Marlboro there. I really would rather not see ads for Geico either, you know. Maybe what we could do. Yeah, but I might suggest that if the advertisers were well-known brands associated with the beach already, like O'Neill and, you know, Ray-Ban and Coppertone and such, you know, it might actually add to the atmosphere instead of detracting it, you know, make it seem more beachy.
Right now, I'm picturing you in O'Neill, Ray-Ban, and Coppertone.
Well, unfortunately, I have to wear prescription glasses, so the Ray-Bans are out. But I have a couple of O'Neill umbrellas, and my watch is, Tide watch is from Rip Curl, so that's pretty good. The other thing is on the tax abatements. So okay, real quick, okay, the tax abatements. I'm okay with this. I'd rather it wasn't a 28-page bill. You know, I'm always in favor of less taxes. You know, yeah, and I would like. I'm just wondering why it's restricted to owner-occupied buildings and you know, which would only be residents and like not all property owners, because everybody benefits from any property being, you know, improved, not just properties, you know, occupied by residents.
Mr. Northbury about that, Mr. Mine. Again, we wanted to have it as liberal as possible underneath whatever the state guidelines are. So, in other words, there were people who weren't happy with that we put the entire town in an area near rehabilitation. That's the only way you can have this. So if the state said we didn't have to do it, we're going to do it. But we have to follow the state guidelines so we can have this type of program. So I'll find out from him, and we'll have it on for second reading on the 15th.
Well, I got to tell you, I do feel very uneasy about the state classifying this whole town as anything. So, you know, that I wish we could have done it without having the state classify us. You know, I'm against classifying anything. So, but if it just sticks to just, you know, preventing tax increases, then I would definitely support it. Thank you.
On the advertisement part, could we sell part of the fencing around the skate park to skate advertisers to try to, I don't know, help somebody else encourage to take over the skate park?
We can explore it.
I mean, we're looking at advertisers.
Yeah, and it would be really good to keep it in the theme of, you know, instead of just generic companies like, you know, insurance companies or banks or whatever, if we could keep it themed as a beachy kind of thing would be good. No, banks are fine, you know, along the turnpike or whatever, but for the boardwalk, I think it would just add to, it seem more like you're on vacation if it's just all beach kind of, you know, companies, you know, you feel like you're really at the beach, you know, so, and not on the turnpike, you know. So, Coppertone, I don't need it because I'm under my O'Neill umbrella, so, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Paul.
Hi there, Paul Carew, 110 4th Avenue. First off, I'm against the commercialization of the beachfront totally. I want it all natural, we keep it. Beautiful place, don't want signs at all. Number two, I have a question, sorry to reopen the old wound, about the trailers. Did you say they were like $42,000 a piece?
They're per month.
No, the cost of the trailer.
Right, the expense of the trailer is per month is $87.50 a month.
So
it depends on how many months you have. So if you have it for 3 months, you do that times 3, you do that times 5. You know, I imagine they'll be there, well, not a full 5 months, right? June, July,
They come and
August,
go.
September.
They're not gonna stay over the winter?
No, they're over.
Oh, I didn't get that.
They'll be out at the end of September.
Oh, okay, so.
They'll be gone, with the idea that we'll have, we'll start driving the pylons for the new pavilions, you know, yes, sometime after Labor Day, you know, maybe sometime in October, something like that.
Okay, so this is a short-term issue till.
Short term.
We're making up for the loyal renters before and taking care of them in this transition period. Okay, never mind on that one then. I'd like to let you know that we used to run a guest house. My house is converted in Belmar. It used to be for 17, 30 years a guest house. We've got hundreds and hundreds of old friends that spend all their life in Belmar when they're young. I'm hearing from them all. They all want to know how's the beachfront. Their emails and letters and phone calls. Can't wait to come back. They're excited. We get a lot of loyal people that have grown up here. And I just want you to know that they'll all appreciate that. They will be here.
Yeah, we anticipate being, weather dependent, we anticipate being very busy and keeping both Mr. Campbell and Mr. Palmazano on the job.
And we had a record-setting year last year. I can't imagine what's going to happen this year. Okay, that's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, supporting the PSNG.
Gene Kramer, 4th Avenue. By the way, I want to comment that the beachfront looks great. In fact, I don't take the opportunity, unobstructed eastern horizon. It's not going to be like that for long hours. So take a look while you can. Ocean Avenue. Mayor, I was very disappointed to hear that the boardwalk wasn't going to have more of a skirt for a number of reasons. But I did a quick WAG estimate of the $8 million that we've invested thus far down there on Ocean Avenue. It appears to me, WAG estimate of about $5 million of that investment is actually within the right-of-way of Route 18, Monmouth County Route 18, Ocean Avenue. 5 out of 8 of money that's being underwritten by Belmar property taxpayers, primarily for the purpose of public access. I guess what I'd like to know is, has the borough reached out to Monmouth County to find what their interest is in this? I mean, inasmuch as we're making a very large investment, more than half of the money that we've already spent down there is on property that they have control over. I just think our county government, like I said, I'm disappointed that, you know, we're going to have a couple boards nailed up alongside the boardwalk there as a skirt on the boardwalk, when really much more improvement could be done.
The only involvement the county has is on the road surface itself. The approximately $8 million that's spent for the boardwalk, none of that will be borne by Belmar taxpayers. We've already submitted our PW worksheets, and we've been working with these project worksheets and working with FEMA to look at a 75% reimbursement from them. The remaining part would be put against the beach utility itself, minus any money raised through the Buy a Board campaign, which again, I mentioned today, we've raised a little over $640,000. So, you know, the total bond, give or take, at the beach utility probably ends up being somewhere around $1.4 million. And right now, or before Sandy rather, there was no debt at the beachfront. The taxpayers have debt, but the beachfront had zero debt. We paid it off over the last 2 years. And so it's able to absorb that debt service for those bonds. But working through the county, they're not going to take any responsibility for any part of the boardwalk itself. I'll be honest with you, we're negotiating, which is a general word, to have them repay and stripe all of Ocean Avenue, because Ocean Avenue, particularly in certain parts, got really beat up from the storm and all the equipment that was on there and removing all the debris. So we're working on getting them to repay the Ocean Avenue, which, you know, that'll be a pretty large expense. I think we're estimating that at $500,000? About $500,000 that we're trying to get them to pony up and pave the road.
Okay, I guess, and I haven't been tracking it that close, but this Senate Bill 2601 that I guess they had a meeting on last week in Trent actually proposes to put the county, to create county beach utilities, Monmouth, Ocean, Atlantic, Cape May. Also, and I guess some of the enticements there that Belmar might even consider would be their assumption of the debt, apparently, the debt that's been incurred as a result of the storm.
And on that point, I'm sorry, Ricky, but I'll tell you, I've spoken with.
You're not taking away from my 5 minutes, right?
Hold on a second, just so, because you brought this point up, I've spoken with the field director, Thomas, I know, and he's completely opposed to that bill. He's already told the county, the last thing they want is to take control of the beaches from Seabright down to Seager. There in no way, shape, or form will the county have any interest in taking over Belmar Beach or any other beach. So, sorry about that. Okay, 30 more seconds.
Well, actually, you brought up an interesting point. I'm just wondering, though, in as much as getting a proper skirt on the boardwalk, also, by the way, there's going to be problems there this winter. I'm sure you've already seen sand blowing across Ocean Avenue. If there's nothing there blocking it, we're going to have the same problems that they have in Bradley and Avon during storms and afterwards, with just sand accumulating and blowing across the street. I see that the county freeholders meet, I guess, just about every Thursday. I guess you don't have any objection to borough people actually going and attending their meeting? Okay, thank you very much.
Do you have a question for you, real quick? You talk about the county's property owning of the road. Are we more the same or less than what we were before? Do you know? Are we on the same amount of property of the county as what we were last year?
No. The borough's lots are clearly defined. And what I did was I took a look at Birdsall's drawing, and actually Birdsall's drawing does have the borough's property line on it. The borough's property line would be a Taylor Pavilion at the front wall, the 13th Avenue Pavilion at the front wall. Everything else on the roadway side is within the county's right-of-way. And the borough doesn't have clear title to anything within that right-of-way, to the best of my knowledge. We're making a very large public access improvement on property that the borough doesn't own.
That's interesting.
And I find it remarkable that we're not getting any participation from Monmouth County in at least supporting that public access. To me, it's almost outrageous that we've gone forward and made these improvements, but yet we're getting no help from the county government, which, although they may not like to get into the beach utility business, the legislature in Trenton is speaking just the opposite. And actually, there are benefits. There are potential benefits that would come about. Maybe cut me off.
No.
Okay. There's benefits that would accrue from this. One of the ones right off the bat that seems to be very attractive is that if you had a county beach permit, if you wanted to go to Spring Lake, you could get onto that beach. If you wanted to go to Avon, you could go to that beach. You could meet friends that are living down in Spring Lake and sit on the beach with them. The other thing is that the larger beach protection projects, and by the way, the construction of dunes as a result of the beach renourishment by the Corps of Engineers is going to be conditioned upon the building of dunes on the beach. And they're much better prepared, have a lot more experience on making those sort of shore protections. Is that it?
You're gonna get me in trouble.
Excuse me?
I said you're gonna get me in trouble. All right, well, it's 8 o'clock, so hope everyone had an enjoyable council meeting. I'll make a motion to, I'll second it. Adjourn. Aye.
There's always the small point that at any point